All right. We just finished annual planning 2026. We always get together for a few days to a week each year, kind of reflecting on the previous year, looking forward to what are we going to prioritize in 2026.
It's a great exercise. We really picked it up early in Sterling, but we were both running a business for like 6-7 years. We went to, so it was an entrepreneur conference, and it was like the importance of getting away out of the business and taking time. One of the things we do is the SWOT analysis, which I think is so important. Like, what's our strengths, what's our weaknesses, what the opportunities, what are the threats, and then building out from there. What can we do? And I think it's fun to go through the exercise because, like, I have an idea of where I think things are going. You do. All the team members are, what's going to happen. It's a time though for us to really be unplugged from the day-to-day operations, because that's, I think, when a lot of ideas happen, and then a lot of working together. But sometimes it can get, either heated or like, we're all passionate. Like, we love what we do in our business. It's the same thing in our businesses where if everybody's just like listening to like you talk or me talk and there's no feedback, we're not growing. It's not iron sharpening iron. So I think any business owner, at least once a year should pull out of the business with their team and go through, where do you want the business to go?
No, and I think, one of the things that ultimately comes out of it, kind of looking at the situation analysis, kind of doing an introspective evaluation of kind of grading ourselves on our business internal operations performance, and then kind of grading on how we did with customers, just all the different metrics, kind of taking a look at it, and then ultimately, in the SWOT analysis, and ultimately trying to come up with what are the 4 things that we are going to focus on for the coming year, 3 or 4 things. It's like, because we probably listed 150 different things that need improvement, we need to work on, but what is ultimately going to support us, support our purpose, and support, and our BHAG, and then our annual goal. What are the 4 things in 2026 that we're going to put all of our efforts into accomplishing, so that we can say end of the year, hey, we accomplished the goals.
That's got to go on a 5A.
BHAG, you mentioned the big, hairy, audacious goal. That was a thing. Goal setting is so important, and to have a vision of where could we go to? Where's our 5-year mountaintop to get to? So, I think growth just for growth's sake isn't important, but growth for you're getting to a destination and having the team come on board, that vision is so important on that side of it. But then just having an honest discussion, because we're a small business just like everybody out there that's probably listening. So if you're honest with yourself, there's things you're probably doing really well, there's things that you're weak on, and then there's also the what are the main focuses going to be? Because we're both entrepreneurs, so we both can just run into this is the way to go, that's the way to go, and then just stepping back and looking at what worked, what didn't work, and what changed. Because sometimes things work and then something changes either in the marketplace, the industry, whatever, and you have to adapt quickly and move into it. We have a lot of different things we'd want to accomplish, and we're always looking at that constant improvement and making things better. But obviously, product line is one of the big focuses. How do we make the products we have better? How do we make adjustments to the products? How do we adapt them? And where is the vision of the product line? But I think one place that you truly excel, and a lot of our customers talk about, is the efficiency of our business. They place an order and it goes out that same day, and they could just count on, like Sterling Lighting does well at that. So, one of the huge ones you're looking at is going to a higher end system, the ERP system and some of that, like massive undertaking that's going to be, so we could really track things better and build that out.
Well, I mean, I think, as far as moving, in support of our purpose, moving towards our annual goal for next year, hiring was going to be one of the big ones. It'll be a significant hiring year, which, involves lots of training and onboarding and, improvements in current, training systems. It's just, there's a lot of work that the organization is going to have to focus on. And like you said, product development and implementation, in all the product lines that we're coming out with, because we are managing quite a few different things now. Lastly, the big thing that we, wanted to to work on is, our sales training. How do we develop people, and kind of utilizing, the sales experience that we had with, selling to, design to customers, and how do we really, kind of develop our sales team so that they understand what their customer is trying to accomplish. And then, also then how do we incorporate design, into, make our people more knowledgeable on design, because we're very design focused as a company. And so, those are kind of the big things that we thought were going to help move us, ultimately in the direction of supporting our purpose, which is elevating the outdoor lighting, landscape lighting industry.
Mm-hmm. And I think one thing that we always go back to at this time is our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Who we are, how important do you think that is?
Yeah, I mean, like, what is it? Culture eats, performance for breakfast. Like, it's just like, your culture makes your company. And if you're not intentional about it, culture happens to you. I always, in my other business, doing mosquito control, it's like we were very unintentional about the culture. And, it didn't mean we didn't have a culture. It just means that we had a culture that we had zero say in, and, and it showed. And it was so, it took a lot of time and effort to try and pivot on that, and which we did. But, it is challenging. And so knowing the pitfalls of not being intentional about culture, I think has kind of helped us in Sterling to really try and, find the culture fits for the company. Because if you're not a culture fit, you're not going to enjoy it. It's a painful process to, separate,
Mm-hmm.
and it just wastes, our people's time, and it wastes our time, and so it's just a lot easier to be intentional. And when we're looking for people to find the culture fit, because if you enjoy the culture and you want to be a part of it, it makes work so much more fun and enjoyable.
I think in our organization, and we're working with people, that culture, like, we have a culture, like we are who we are, and we want, and people who understand us work really well with us. People who don't understand us don't get us. And so I think that's true in anybody's business, is like, you need to define like your culture, what you want to have your business look like, and then start building towards your strengths and improving on your weaknesses. I'm really excited for 2026. I think there's a lot. I'm always optimistic. You've heard me say this every year, but this year in particular, I'm excited for where we're going to be sitting next year at this time, and what we have to implement in order to make that happen. And you're going to hear a lot of announcements coming out on our growth, and ultimately what's going to be the best tools for our customers. Like, how are we going to help you and give you the tools so you could grow your business? And that's by us being very intentional in delivering that to you.
Yeah, and I think like one of the things we wanted to do with this particular video was, talk about like what we do on the meeting rhythm. We have monthly meetings, weekly meetings, annual meetings. Not for the sake of having meetings, but like for being purposeful in helping to move the goal, like you have your daily operations, which, you know, we have to do every day. Then there's those things like that need to be worked on for the business to achieve its goals. And, you know, and meeting rhythms are a real critical, you know, point to that. And so happy to have anybody, you know, if they have questions about meeting rhythms, and, you know, we're not perfect, but we've been doing it a while, and, you know, we've seen the benefits of it. And so we just encourage, you know, questions and, you know, on that process. You know, we have landscape lighting legends, like Pat and I are super accessible, answer questions all the time in our Sterling Lighting Facebook group. So love to hear from you guys and, you know, help you guys elevate your businesses.